Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Z. I'm a clinical psychologist specializing in transgender care. Welcome to my channel. Today I want to talk to you about the insatiable appetite, if you will, that you tend to develop, some of you will tend to develop, as you either going through transition or once you have completed your transition, whatever that completion means to you, and how that insatiable appetite, first of all, where it comes from, and second of all, how it can affect you and how others around you may not really understand what is it that you're going through and why the support system in those cases becomes incredibly valid, incredibly important. So what I'm talking about? Well, when you start transitioning or when you are completing your transition, again, whatever completion is for you, becomes a desire to express yourself as much as possible, especially at a point when you're starting to cultivate confidence in yourself, especially when I talked about the tipping point when you start to see yourself, really truly see yourself in a way you envisioned yourself, see yourself in a way you've been seeing yourself on the inside for many, many years. When that moment happens, another tipping point, if you will, takes place, and that becomes in the form of this insatiable appetite for life. And usually what happens with insatiable appetite, it takes the form of you running around doing everything you can possibly get your hands on. It is as if you wake up every single day and you absolutely need to do something in relationship to who you are. It's either can be you have to go out, period, and be seen and validated, or you have to go and get your nails done, or you have to go and play a particular sport, whatever it is. In other words, you just have to get yourself out there as if life is a ticking timer and as if your days of being yourself are going to be yanked away from you. This insatiable sense of appetite comes from a deep emotional and psychological hunger you've been having for many, many years. The hunger arises out of many, many years of not being able to express yourself. It is very analogous to food, very much so. Let's say you really, really want to eat strawberries, by the way, one of my favorite fruits, and you've really been wanting to eat strawberries, and you've been holding off from eating strawberries for a big chunk of your life. And now, suddenly, you get access to strawberries. Well, guess what's going to happen? You're going to eat strawberries every single day. You're going to eat strawberries until you get sick. You're going to then get well and eat strawberries again. And you're just going to keep going and going and going until you have got a level of satiety within yourself that you had enough strawberries, or until you got the moment when you realize that the strawberries are going to be there. The strawberries are not going to go away. The strawberries are not going to be taken away from you. This is a great analogy because that's the hunger that you've been cultivating for yourself in relationship to yourself for many, many years. And that's what happens when we come out. And that's what happens when you start living your life and experiencing yourself in your true authentic gender. That insatiable appetite tends to come to the surface. And as a result, you feel like you need to be doing all of the things. So, for starters, that's not a bad thing. It is not a bad thing to have this insatiable hunger and this normal part of the process. For many of you, that's just part of transition. They just, one of the things that you're going to go through. Eventually, that insatiable appetite settles down and you just go on living your life and you just go on carrying around your thing, like I said, knowing that the strawberries are going to be there and nobody's going to take the strawberries away. The challenge with the insatiable appetite is onefold. It can really breed regrets. And the way it breeds regrets is that now that you have access to all the strawberries and you're eating them, you're now regretting so many years before you, years when you didn't have access to strawberries, or years when you did have access to strawberries, but you were really afraid to reach out for them. So as a result, you're looking back at your life and you're regretting that you haven't really reached out for strawberries sooner. And that can be a lot of times painful, especially now that you are experiencing yourself and you're experiencing it on a daily basis. It is put in that much more contrast to the life you lived in the past, and it becomes that much more painful to observe the person you were. So number one advice I can give you, get rid of regrets. Regrets are not going to get you anywhere. Regrets, first of all, are not going to change the past, and they're not going to motivate your future. Regrets are they're like a mind it's almost like your mind is a hotel and you're renting a room to a regret that trashes the room every single day, does not pay for the room, and then you end up going there and cleaning up the mess. And as you clean up the mess, you get more and more depressed by just doing it, and by the fact that you're letting this stay in your head for free. So don't do that. Regrets are unnecessary. Regrets will eat you up. They're like this toxic parasite that is inside that keeps eating and eating and eating and eating at your mindset. What you need to do is you need to cultivate a healthy mindset. What you need to do is focus on now. Focus on where you're at in your life and focus on where you want to go. So this insatiable appetite can breed a sense of regret and looking back at your past. That's one of the things it tends to do. Another thing that tends to happen when you have this insatiable appetite for life, which is, again, like I said, it's very common. It's as if you're living for the first time. You just can't stop doing things you want to do. It is as if tomorrow is going to end. Or another way to describe it, it's as if you're trying to make up for all the years of not being yourself. You're trying to make up all of those experiences you missed. And another thing with that is that people around you, especially if you're in a relationship, if you're still married or in a new kind of relationship, or people who are your family members or your long-term friends who know you for many years, those people will have a very difficult time understanding why you have such a need for all of the things right now, why you need to run around living your life as if it's going to end today. Understandably so. Most of the people are not having insatiable appetite for anything in their lives. Most of the people are living their lives. Most of the people, unless they're inspired to do something, they don't get into the state of what somebody might describe as mania. I'm not talking about clinical mania, just to clarify. I'm talking about the state of manic behavior where you just, you can't get enough of it. So most of the people are not going to understand it because they're taking a lot of things for granted, or a lot of things for them are not a big deal. They don't understand why you're so obsessed with strawberries when they've been having access to strawberries all their life. Strawberries have been there for them within their reach, and nothing ever obstructed the reach was strawberries. So that's one of the things to understand. The reason why it will help you to understand that they will not understand you is because it can be very frustrating. Can be very frustrating when they're your support system and you're trying to get them to understand. It can be very frustrating when they don't really step into issues and they don't really know. So the best thing you can do for yourself is to find support system. Hopefully, ideally, people who have been in issues, ideally people who have gone through transition or going through transition, who are going to get it, who are going to totally understand where your insatiable hunger comes from, and going to understand why you're waking up with that hunger every single day. But otherwise, it can create quite a bit of tension. I've seen people who tried very hard to get their partners to understand why they need to do things they do. And honestly, the best thing is just to keep it short and brief and just to say, this is something I need to do for myself during this period of time. And I know it's difficult for you to understand, but that's something I need to do for myself. It's part of my self-care. So that's what you need to know about insatiable hunger. I'm sure that a lot of you who are watching have felt that insatiable hunger in some point in your life. Comment below, share, let me know how it went for you. Do you still have that insatiable hunger? Sometimes that insatiable hunger can be toward also surgical aspects in transition. It is as if we gotta have all of the surgeries once and we gotta have them immediately. Again, all of this is a normal response. Try to slow down. Remind yourself that things are not going to be yanked away from you. Remind yourself that you are on a path where now you are in control of your life. You have agency over yourself and you have agency over your life, and now you're calling the shots. So trust yourself and trust the process. And if you get that insatiable hunger, that's understandable. So I totally get it. And like I said, if I was being hauled out from strawberries for duration of my life, and somebody placed strawberries in front of me, I probably would get myself pretty sick. So trust the process, trust yourself, and try to find support system that will support you, that understands it, that gets what you're going through. And if you have that insatiable hunger, just be mindful that that's what's happening and that's the phase you're going through. Comment below, let me know. Would love to hear more about your experiences with insatiable hunger, and I'll see you guys all next time. Bye.